Greetings, fellow film fans. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Mercy, and this is the Funny Pajamas YouTube channel. Just on Friday, they dropped the latest episode on Friday afternoon. That is, they dropped the latest episode of The Falcon and Winter Soldier here in India. Now, forgive me straight off the bat because I'm sweating buckets here. Because, if you've lived in Chennai, you know how hot it gets here, and it's beginning to get summer. So straight off the bat, I'd like to say, if you haven't noticed that it's given down in the title that this is a spoiler heavy discussion. So there are going to be major spoilers. So if you haven't watched the latest episode 5 of The Falcon and the Soldier, why don't you save this video for later, go check it out, come back, and then we can have a fun discussion. Okay, and while you're at it, why don't you smash that like and subscribe button, become a subscriber to my channel if you haven't done so already, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you're notified every time I post something new. So I'm going to try and keep this as short as notice that in the past few videos I was rambling on a bit. Okay, so we pick up straight after the previous episode and John Walker's running running away from the site of the crime where he brutally murders this guy, this flag smasher who, by the way, in the previous episode did say that he was a lifelong fan of the Captain America character and killed by Captain America. So that was kind of poignant. So anyway, John Walker's on the run and then he's confronted by Bucky and Sam and then they duke it out. And John Walker, and this episode was really character heavy. They sort of dialed back on the action. Sure, they started off with an action scene, but they really dialed back on the action and they gave more importance to character development and fleshing that out, building the characters more. Whether this worked in their favor or not, I'll let you guys know a little later. We'll discuss that later down in the episode. So this episode I felt was pretty much centric on Sam and Sam's struggle with the shield and what it represents. So Sam, you can see in this first very fight scene, Captain America saw this John Walker tears away Sam's wings. He breaks them. And then the fight ends with Sam picking up the shield and walking away. This episode kind of brought full circle Sam's struggle with taking up the shield, taking up the mantle of Captain America. And I felt they addressed his struggle, the inner workings of his mind pretty well in this episode. In that strength, I felt this episode was very strong character-wise and did seem a lot more than the first episode, and I did feel that this episode had some very poignant moments, some very heavy moments. They handled some topics such as racism in America and stuff like that Marvel generally tends to circumvent or go around. They get a little picky about this, but it was handled. Sam struggled that will the world accept a black Captain America? So he's like troubled. He goes back to Isaiah Bradley, the old super soldier who had been given the serum, and he hears Isaiah's brutal backstory. So you've got Steve Rogers as Captain America on one hand, and Isaiah Bradley, a person who took the serum on the other hand. And Isaiah Bradley straight out tells him, any black guy taking up the shield would be a disgrace, sort of, basically that's what he says. So Sam is again torn. So, and he's basically this, this talk between Isaiah and Sam is like really, it was pretty brutal and it was pretty upfront considering the MCU, and they did address the issue a lot. Now, Sam decides to go lay back and go back to his home with his sister, and he helps her with the nets and stuff like that. And Bucky shows up with a case from Wakanda. Now, previous to this, Bucky finds Zemo standing at the Sokovia Memorial in Sokovia, and he kind of just hands him over to the Dora Milaje, and they take him off to the raft. Now, there are talks now that this could be a foreshadowing of the Thunderbolts. Now, I myself am not very familiar with the Thunderbolts. I know that they are Marvel's version of the heroes taken in together and formed. Now we know that Abomination is somewhere, I'm presuming on the Raft. That is the prison that where Sam and Wanda and all were imprisoned following their attempts and following their actions in Civil War, which Steve breaks them out of. So Zemo is sent to the Raft where the Dora Milaje say he's going to spend the rest of his life. So that Zemo's arc sort of comes to an end, and in a way it is underwhelming. I don't believe they did this character justice, you know. I do think they're setting him up for more further up ahead, but it was a bit underwhelming seeing his arc in this coming to an end. He didn't do, I mean, I will say throughout the, you know, the course of this the series, one of my favorite characters has become Zemo, and I was pretty sad to see him go. Now moving on ahead, Bucky goes to visit Sam, you know, this suitcase, a suitcase, and meanwhile he stays back and sort of helps Sam out, fix up his old family's boat and on which they are planning to sell. And they have these really poignant moments and talks, how Sam's interaction with his sister, how originally they wanted to sell the boat. Now his sister is like, no, we can't. And Sam straight away tells her, you kept thinking I was running away. And she's like, no, I didn't think that, you know. And then we see Sam take the shield and start to, you know, practice with it, getting a feel for it. And Bucky comes over and talks to him, and he's like, I really didn't think of this from your angle. I thought of it from mine, what it meant to me, how you handing over the shield would mean to me, how it would affect me, what it, you know, how it, you know, affects me as a person. I never thought of how it would affect you, your thought process, your thinking is what's going on. So Bucky gets like a pretty good healthy dose of tough love, and we see our two characters, Falcon and Winter Soldier, both of whom have been basically sidekicks, being brought up and built up so well. What I really like about these MCU shows is, even with WandaVision, these were, you know, Wanda and Vision were two characters that were not primarily like Iron Man as such, but they built them up so well, and they seem to be doing that in this. Now in this episode, my nitpick is that, you know, plot does take pretty much a back seat. There's almost absolutely no plot development. I've also come to realize that, you know, through this episode, I start concerning John Walker. Now, John Walker in this, he has been caught on camera killing an international citizen, brutally murdering him on camera in front of people in a public square. So he's being court-martialed, and he just tells, you know, and they strip him of his title, they strip him of the American Captain America mantle. Like, they give him a other than dishonorable discharge. I don't know what that is exactly, forgive me, sorry. They give him an other than dishonorable discharge, and they give him no retirement benefit. I am Captain America. I followed all your mandates, everything you told me to. You built me, you know, sort of. He's just, you can see that he's trying to lie to himself. He's telling himself, no, I am Captain America. I am Captain America. And the most important part of being Captain, you have to have your own moral compass and you should stick to it. That's basically what happened in Civil War when Steve refused to sign the Sokovia Accords. He did what he felt was right. And that was kind of what was missing in John Walker, and we see him taking a really dark turn. We saw it in the last episode. We see it now. And while he's sitting outside, we get the cameo by Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And she plays, now she's got a really long name, and I'm sorry, but I know I'm going to butcher it if I say it, so I'm just going to call her. She plays the character Madam Hydra. Now, I'll tell you honestly, I don't know who she is in the comics. So she comes in, you know, sort of bucks him up, tell him, don't worry, that shield, I know you don't have the shield. Like I said before, this episode barely progresses the plot. And I do believe that Sam was given a much stronger arc than Bucky. But one of the most compelling characters is John Walker's character. I'm interested in seeing where he's going. Pretty much taking the route which we knew he'd take pretty much from the beginning, that he'd go dark sort of. So he's, you know, doing that. What I felt underwhelming was, you know, the person they've set up as one of the main antagonists, that is Karli Morgenthau. My thing is, you've got just one episode left and you've got so many plot threads all around that need to be tied up. Like the power broker, this person has not, like, I still think it's Sharon Carter. So we see her talking to Batroc. Now the only reason I knew it was Batroc was because I had my subtitles on, okay? So full disclosure there. So that's why I knew it was Batroc she was talking to on the phone. And then Batroc ends up helping Kali. So this Kali is a character that could have been fleshed up on, could have been worked on, but like I said, 6 episodes, man, that's a little too less, and now you sacrifice one episode for character building instead of progressing the plot. Would that count as, a good decision direction wise, or would it be considered a pacing issue because now you've got one episode in which to pull together so many threads and so many plot lines, and it just feels underwhelming, a bit. But we end with Kali and her group of flag smashers deciding to attack the GRC. Now the GRC, let me get to the GRC. This is a body that has been coming up throughout the regulatory body that has been popping up everywhere throughout the length of this series. But they've never really fleshed it out properly. We get our first look at them. We could have been given a better introduction to them to see how they work, to see, get a better idea. And towards the end, the people, there are agents inside there who say one world, one people sort of. It's pretty reminiscent of the Hydra style. And how Kali originally started off, okay, something you could work with, someone complicated who's just out to, hurt means by what she, however it is. But whether it was a good decision to sacrifice, okay, not exact, to have the penultimate episode be so character driven instead of focusing a bit more on the plot progression, I believe was a mistake. And I could be, it is a strong episode actually. One of my favorite episodes of this series. Very poignant moments, very heavy moments that are so gut-wrenching, moments that hit home hard. And for that, I enjoyed this. But I do believe it is a mistake having focused so much on character this late, having had inconsistent pacing throughout your series. So that's what I feel. So far, it whether to place this as my favorite episode, mainly because of the character development, or whether it ranks second to the previous episode. But it is among the top two. That's about all I have for you right now. So, sorry, my voice is getting really scratchy. Where does this stand for you? Do you think it's going to end strong, or do you think, like me, I got an idea that maybe it's going to falter a bit? I sure as hell hope not, because I've got all my fingers crossed. I want them to end on a strong note. And listen, you can always contact me simply on Twitter at Mercy_D, on Instagram at Mercy_SD. Check me out on the Funny Pajamas Facebook page, simply at funny.pajamas. And you can always contact me on email, simply mercy@funny-pajamas.com. Pajamas with a Y. And don't forget to check out the website. That's simply at www.funny-pajamas.com. Address on the screen. So do check it out. Go see the editorials and reviews I've written out there. They're pretty fun and laid back. So do check it out. Well, that's all I have for you right now. So I'm going to end here. Hope to see you again next week for the next episode. This is Mercy, signing out. Bye.